and marriage, love and marriage.
Hello, my name is Robbie. On here I'm Templar Knight. Every person who believes in God but does not attend a church has a story why. But it's said that whenever two or more people gather in God's name, that He is there. So this is church. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. Tonight, again, like last week, we are finishing up our series, Bliss After the Bells. What to do after we've said I do. I thought I'd be done last week, but God had different plans, so we're doing one more week. And honestly, I'm really glad we are. Because I found something doing my research this week that completely changed the way I think about things. And I'm excited to share that with you. So we're going to talk about sacrifice. Now, what does sacrifice mean? I mean, that sounds like a scary word. Basically, sacrifice is just giving up something in order to obtain something else. Essentially, it's our list of priorities. How do we prioritize things in our life? I think about my day just today. One of my biggest priorities was playing that new Hogwarts video game. That's what I wanted to do. I woke up early. Instead of trying to fall back asleep, I said, nope, I value that playing that game more than trying to get another hour of sleep. So I got out of bed and I started playing. Then came time I was supposed to eat. Nope, I want to play this game. I value that game more than food right now. So I got to eat a little bit. Then I finally hit a few priorities that matter. I want to have clean clothes for work tomorrow. So I put the game aside to go start my laundry. I have Bible study tonight. And fireworks in the neighborhood. Weird. Anyway. Wow, that'll derail you. Yes, Bible study tonight. I have Bible study tonight. Hi, here we are. That's more of a priority than most things for me. So I was able to put the game aside to come and do this, to make sure my notes were ready. Today's the Super Bowl. I haven't watched it because I value playing this game more than watching a football game. I'm not a huge football fan. So those have been how my priorities have lined up today. I was willing to sacrifice a bunch of things for something that I thought was more important. I also thought this was ironic. I've been working on a song lately, and one of the verses starts out with my priorities. It starts out saying, my Lord, my wife, my music, my life. My top 4 priorities. A lot of people might think I should probably value my life more than I value my music. But a life without music is... Anyway, that's off topic. What are your priorities, and how do you value these things? First priority, for everyone, should be God. He should be the most important thing for you. You will sacrifice everything for Him. Somewhere in my list of priorities is that Harry Potter game that I've been having a blast playing. There's laundry, there's taking out the trash, which needs to be a lot higher on the list because I'm horrible at it. But after my Lord comes my wife. She is the second most important thing to me. So what does that mean in the terms of sacrifice? There's only one thing I will not sacrifice for her. I wanted to sit around and play that video game all day today. But if she would have told me, hey, we're not doing that today, I need you for this, I have to sacrifice my time with that game because she's more important to me than that game. See how the priority chain fits? The higher up on the list it is, everything else underneath, you have to be willing to sacrifice for that. I know people who have been told they have to give up drinking because their spouse said so. And in a work job site, that's oh, you're whipped. You make fun of them for that. But on the side, I'm secretly proud of those guys. Because I don't drink often and I don't drink much. But if my wife said I had to give it up, I'm giving it up. That sacrifice I would be willing to make for her. I would challenge you to spend some time this week and get your priorities straight. What is more important than other things? What are you willing to give up to have something else? Because I hate to say it, sometimes our spouses are not as high up as they should be. Sometimes they're not. And we need to fix that. I need to be the man that my wife needs me to be. I promised my God I would. When we stood in front of him in his house, we promised our lives, we promised forever to each other. That puts her high up in my priorities. She needs to be more important than a video game. More important than this Bible study. The first week I miss this study is probably going to be because something came up with her. Doing this is important to me. Being here with you guys means the world to me. But she's more important than you. In my mind. To me. Because she's my wife. I don't think she would ever do that. But she could. If something came up and she said, we have to skip Bible study this week. Okay. Because my spouse is my second priority. And hopefully, I can be willing to make sacrifices to be the man she needs me to be. See, God made us compatible. He made us to fit. We're like a puzzle piece. We go together. Sometimes I can be a bit of a nugget. Sometimes she can be a bit of a nugget. And we need to fall back on that promise to God to try and be the person that He needs us to be for this marriage to work. Last week, I tiptoed around a difficult topic. I decided to talk about my ability for anger resolution instead of what really mattered. And that was divorce. Now I'm going to say it now. Divorce is not allowed. But what if my spouse cheats on me? Not allowed. Your spouse shouldn't cheat on you. You should be fulfilling all of their needs. It never should have gotten to that point. You need to focus on being the person they need you to be. Now, I'm not saying that you brought it on. But I'm willing to bet that if the three of you, your spouse, and God, were constantly working on your marriage, trying to be the person that they need you to be, it never would have got that far. See, I found out something this week. I was reading the Bible, and I found a few notes that changed my perception of heaven. because there was... I don't know if you guys were around the week I talked about my views on what heaven is like. It's very suiting today. But I've viewed heaven, or I'd like to compare it to a tailgate party outside of a football stadium. The game is over. God won. He is inside celebrating, and we're out in the parking lot celebrating and sharing in joy, and everything is great. And I'd made the comment about how when you're in heaven, it doesn't matter who you left behind, because you're in heaven now. You've got endless joy and celebration. The feelings you have for these people here on earth won't compare. But in doing some research, I found something that made a connection that I'd never thought of. I'm going to start this with a verse we talked about last week. Matthew 19, verse 6. It says, "So that they are no longer two, but one flesh. Therefore, what God has joined together, let no one separate." Now that's talking about the importance of physical intimacy and that bond being solidified. That bond that God made. But then something else caught my attention. This is also in the book of Matthew, but it's something that was said sooner. It was Matthew 16, verse 19. "I will give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven. Whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven. And whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven." Now there was one part that jumped out at me and I had to start looking into. Whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven. Therefore, what God has joined together, let no one separate. These gears started grinding, and I started wondering. I was bound to this woman on earth by God. He put her in my path, and I promised to take care and cherish her for the rest of my life. We are bound to each other on earth. Matthew 16:19. Whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven. Are you guys interpreting that the same way I did? Because I'm excited for heaven. But that means I get to take my spouse with me. I get to have my wife in heaven too. Do you have any idea what that means? She is the best part of my life here on earth. The best part. And now I find out this week that I get to have that in heaven too. See, it's not just about me taking care of her while I'm on this earth. I get to take care of her forever. She gets to take care of me forever. That's more than I thought we had. So much more. it really has me wondering about that whole line in the wedding vows you hear. Until death do us part. Death apparently does not have any hold on my marriage. Because not even death will be able to separate us. Sorry, that is a whole new level of joy and relief that so what does that mean for now? What does that mean for our remaining years here on earth? Means I need to step up. Means I need to be the man that she needs me to be. I need to be that other piece of the puzzle that completes so that when she and I are together, we are one. And all of that because God glues us together. Where I am weak, she will be strong. Where she is weak, I will be strong. And God will give us the strength to pull that off, to be that person that the other one needs. And what a relief it is to know that God will be there to bind us. So I'm going to do my best. But I'm probably going to fail every now and then. She's going to do her best. But she's probably going to fail every now and then. And that is why it is so important, not only that we are there for each other, but that we acknowledge that God is there for us. Now, it's one thing to just know that God is there, because He is. But we have to acknowledge that. Give Him that control. Give Him that power in our lives. Let Him mold us. If there is one thing that this Bible study has taught me, is that God works in mysterious ways. And if you are listening for Him, if you are open for His input, He will change your life. He will change the person you are. He will mold you into that person that you need to be. I've seen it. I've been a part of it firsthand. I have seen what God can do if we just step aside and let Him. Let us pray. Man, what's up, God? How you doing tonight? I want to thank you so much for what you have done, for what you are doing, and what's next. Lord, I ask that you give us the strength to reform, that you would guide us and shape us to be the person you designed us to be the person that our spouse needs us to be. Lord, I ask that you bless us and our families and our friends and the people we interact with. Lord, let your light shine through us, that we can show the world what you can do. Lord, I thank you. Not for the man I was, not for the man I am, but for the man you are making me into. I pray that I will know when to step aside and let you lead, that I can follow your plan and your will. I ask for your guidance and your grace when I slip up, because I'm not perfect. But I try to be. You know I try to be.